Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to our webinar. This is October 2014. I'm Natalie Kino, and thank you very much for being with us. We will be going through a small guide to good networking in a social world, because some days we really just forget about how to create good relationships and how to really nurture good networking relationships that really just last for a very long time. So let's go through this very quickly. It'll take about 20 minutes at most, and we'll probably go through some tips that you do know already, but it's sometimes really good just to remember them, and not to forget that we are in a connected world and we have to really stand out sometimes. So first and foremost, what we cannot remember, obviously, is that we should never speculate for a job. Okay, the way that a lot of people network today really reminds me of those networker in the stock market, where obviously that person was interested in the person or the company that he's investing in. He only really wanted a quick profit. So what he did was he skimmed the surface of the industry or profession, trying to find easy contacts that might just pay off quickly. This back in the days was called networking meetings, or the so-called business card exchangers. And when you now encounter an experienced networker, you'll obviously find that he listens very carefully to the information that you're giving him, but will only listen if it is useful to them. Okay? Once you're done helping them, they'll obviously move on. So if this does happen, don't forget that he might just drop some tidbits your way, but they will not stay with you forever. Okay, so what you have to really do is then really invest in relationships. Okay, contrast this to someone who reads about your company and calls to discuss how you applied old technology to produce new results. He is obviously interested in you and your work, and he stays in touch with you. So maybe perhaps sending an article about a related topic that has nothing to do with your company even after you've talked might just make you stand apart. Okay, he will obviously remember the fact that you care about him and care in him as a person, as a professional, and care about your relationship with him. All right, then you must obviously get off your computer. Don't forget that. It might just feel obvious sometimes, but yes, I mean, email and social media can be a good way to make initial contact, but if you really want to push that momentum forward in a relationship, you really have to get out there, get out into the world as soon as possible. Okay, so suggest a lunch or a coffee, or maybe accompanying one another to an interesting industry event. However you do it, really taking a new professional relationship offline as soon as you can is the single best way to set yourself apart from the constant flow of internet noise, because there is a lot of noise out there, a lot of information noise, and so you really have to set yourself apart. Then you must forget that you are working, okay? Whether you've just been introduced to someone at an industry event, specifically for networking, or you're stuck in a line for coffee, once you're engaged with someone in a professional conversation, allow yourself to become lost in the interaction, okay? Thinking about how this new relationship might develop and become important to you and your business can obviously distract you from the current moment, and you'll appear to be distracted, dispassionate, and obviously this is no way to look for someone in your network, and they won't keep you in your network. Okay, it's great to be strategic about meeting people, but once the interaction has been initiated, just listen. Okay, you know that your business and your industry well enough to let the conversation happen organically, so you're almost assured that you will have a better time and you will make a long-lasting impression. Then if this does happen, you have to set goals, okay? So don't focus solely on your big picture goals. It's important to get smaller, attainable goals that measure the success of each piece of your business, all of which feed the larger overall goals, okay? Landing, for example, 2 new clients this month is not a networking goal. Even if that is your end game, what you should do is set benchmarks relating directly to your networking efforts. For example, I will get 5 business cards at this lunch, or I will set up 2 coffee dates with new contacts for next week. Okay, so what you really should do is watch how, when applied to all branches of your business, these mini goals not only fuel your sense of constant accomplishment, but they will quickly add up to fulfilling those overreaching goals. Okay. then when you are networking, you must always mind your manners, really. It's its own additional set of rules and customs, but all of society's normal mannerly expectations still apply, okay? Try to listen more than you talk. Yes, you must be thoughtful in your interactions and generous with your time when you can. So being perceived as professionally weak is something that you should avoid. But trust me, that never really happens as a result of having good manners. Then one thing that still applies to this day is that elevator pitches do still matter, okay? There will always be a reason to sell what you do in a very short window of time. It will always play in your favor if you maintain the ability to do that in a way that really manages to cover who you are, what you do, and why it is relevant, okay? So try to come off as casual, efficient, and don't force yourself on them or be pushy. We know it's easy, or rather we know it's not easy, which is why you should always practice, okay? So practice ahead of time, like for example in a mirror, repeatedly. And like a curriculum, elevator pitches also need to be updated, okay? So don't keep always the same ideas in mind. Innovate and try to be different, okay? By doing that, you will also find that you do have weaknesses, so play to them, okay? For example, do you always mean to follow up with people that you meet, but by the time that the appropriate follow-up window arrives, you've always got something else to do, okay? Factor this into your day-to-day organization. There are loads and loads of apps and online tools that you can really have and work on and buy into that will bolster your networking arsenal. For example, if you're prone to having a memory lapse about following up with new contacts, plan ahead. Maybe you can set up an alarm to go off the week right after you've met them. And then you can obviously punch in that person's contact info right into your mobile, okay? And now that we're speaking about actually contact info, what you should also do is not hang on to business cards, okay? These are things that a lot of us do, and they pile up on our desk, and they all look very pretty, and some of them stand out, some of them don't. But as soon as you leave a networking event or meeting or walk away from a chance of encountering with a promising contact, you should immediately enter their business card info into your CRM system, okay? Because nothing is sadder if you try to, get back into contact with them, you don't know their email, and you have to call up their company and ask to get in touch with them. Obviously, business cards are there for a reason, so use them. Yes, you'll obviously then throw them away, something that print shops won't like you to do, but that is what happens, and we all know that is true. Then you must also make networking a regular activity. Far from being open for 24 hours, really the question is, how do you get started, okay? If you're worried about jumping into networking or how you can keep it as a habit, follow this one really simple strategy. Every other day or every other week, or maybe twice a week, you should reach out to that one person whose work you found interesting. It's as simple as that, okay? Don't ask for anything. Just reach out with an email that shows your mutual respect, your interest in what they do, and that you just wanted to say hey, or you just want to say hi, how are you, to a person doing really cool things. That way you have no fear of coming off as sleazy or begging, okay? You will constantly have a habit of reaching out to new people. It will get easier, it will get more natural, and you'll likely come across a lot of interesting folks in this industry, which is always a plus. So no more excuses, you really should get out there. But you also have to know who you're reaching out to, okay? This should be a no-brainer, but if you have ever gotten an unsolicited email that felt like a spam message, but actually wasn't, the most important thing here is to remember that if you are trying to connect with an influential person, this becomes even more relevant, okay? Because they probably have loads of people trying to talk to them. So what you have to do to stand out is do your homework. Actually getting to know some facts about the person, know about who you're reaching out to, beyond that surface level, okay? Beyond everything that everyone else knows, you really have to dig deep, okay? People reach out to a lot of people about discussing, for example, content strategy. And it's really flattering when they're speaking about their content, but what they really have to know is other things about that person, okay? As basic as something that maybe separates you from the pack, something that really actually comes prepared by knowing that person individually, like the person's passion projects that has nothing to do with them professionally or what they do at that moment. I guarantee that if you do that, you will get remembered, okay? Then you should obviously use social networking. This is something that everyone knows today is true, and some people actually do it quite organically. But if you don't do it, you really should start to get into the habit of using it. One of the first great things about social media is that buyers are far more open about their intentions than in the pre-social age. Okay, they signal them actually by posting comments on forums, or actually updating their Twitter feed with something that they really like, or updating their status on LinkedIn. And so what you can do is really grab this opportunity to know the person inside and out. It might scare them a bit, but if you do it right, it will work really well. And this will also show that you are listening to them and to their needs. Okay, so let's quickly go into a little demo just to show you how to use applications properly, put them to good use, and help you really play on your strengths. Okay. Okay, so here we have PHCFX. It is a CRM system, actually a business software that has several modules that allows you to really streamline your business in several aspects. It does have business, which allows you to have invoicing, customer supplies, and banking. It also has team that allows you to manage your teams, your projects, all of the little tasks that you have. And then it also has servers, which allows you to provide excellent customer support. What we're going to concentrate now is just really show you a little bit about the CRM, how it works, and how it can really just streamline you to help you make good, to help you create long-lasting customer relationships. One of the main things that the CRM will help you do is, if you do have an account, it will obviously allow you to be able to create special details regarding that account. Okay, so one of the things that you do want to do obviously is create an account whenever you do have a new customer. That will then allow you to fill in several aspects of your customer. And one of the main things that you should do is, in fact, keep in mind that there is always a special date. Okay, so you should fill every field that there is available, especially if it allows you to be able to have more information and a great history background regarding that customer. You can also have several contacts for one account, and the fact that you have several contacts allows you to be able to individually really encourage knowing your customer very well. So the contact data will allow you to be able to save certain special dates regarding that individual. So if it is, for example, their wedding anniversary, you can go into your appointment. You can also create an alert on your calendar, and that when that shows up, you will be alerted that that customer has got a wedding anniversary, and call them up and just really congratulate them for no given reason without having to sell anything. It allows you to create really just a great relationship going on, and an ongoing conversation is always easier to maintain a long-lasting relationship. Another thing that a CRM will also allow you to do is, in fact, allow you to create newsletters. Okay, these newsletters are just something that you have available that can let you obviously create special promotions for that person or for that company. So that will really make them feel individually very special. One thing that it will also allow you to do is create presentations. Okay, presentations are obviously proposals that you have, and this will allow you to really hone in individually on the specific person's needs, because you will know exactly what products and services that they use more, and then you will be able to send in a presentation. One thing that this will also allow you to do is obviously create presentations based on competitor history. Okay, so if you know who your competitors are, you can also create individual presentations, just highlighting how and why your product or service is better than your competition. Okay, and that brings us to the end of our webinar. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for being with us. If you do want more information or exclusive access to our ebook regarding good networking with loads of tips and a checklist, please send us your email to natalie.keener@phfx.com. You can also get a future information regarding our other webinars that occur on a monthly basis. So please keep in touch, and we'll speak soon.